Hey everyone, I'm Harold Kimball, and I'm out here by my mini bed experimental garden. This is my 6th year of working with the mini bed gardening system and perfecting it as much as any garden system can be perfected. But I want to show you here, before we go into the garden and I show you a few things, I want to show you that my espalier apple tree that I planted a few years ago is doing really well. It's a pleasure to look at this tree trained out on the espalier that I made, and I have a video about this, using the whiz-bang grape trellis T-post fittings. I have a video that tells how to set T-posts easily. I have a video that talks about the grape trellis fittings, and here this framework, very easy, very solid, nothing elaborate or expensive, just a very simple T-post espalier frame, and it's working out very well. So I got a video on that. And I am working here in my garden this morning. It's a May morning. I had my coffee, came right outside. I have mail orders to do, but it's Saturday. And I have emailed people and I told them, I'll get your order shipped on Monday. And I'm out here in my garden. This is my favorite place in the world to be, in my garden, working in my garden, working in the mini beds. I love this mini bed system. Gardening can be kind of overwhelming when you have a big garden, but when you break it down into 30-inch by 30-inch beds with a poly mulch all around, 78% of the garden is covered with a poly mulch. You'll never have a weed grow through that poly mulch. It's so much more manageable when you break it down into little pieces. That's the case with any job, right? You know that. But yeah, I just want to tell you, this is a day like I would like every day of my life to be. The ideal. Get my coffee, come out, work in the garden until the sun comes out and becomes just too much, and then go inside, maybe take a little siesta in my recliner, do a few things inside, and then later on, when it cools down, when the sun is setting in the west, come out here and work till dark in the garden. That's an ideal day as far as I'm concerned. Now let me show you a few things that I've got going on here in the garden. You can see that I've put cardboard and tire sidewalls to good use here to mulch and suppress weed growth along here. I haven't done that before. It doesn't look too great, but I don't care. I'm going to keep the weeds down. Now look here, this is instructive. You see this fabric that I used? I put a border all around my garden of this fabric. It's the woven fabric, and the weeds come up through it. The grass has come up through it. It goes all the way down around there, and you can see the grass is really grown in. So that's what I started using with the mini bed system, was that woven fabric, and that was a mistake. You don't want the woven fabric for your mini bed garden. You want the 6 mil silage tarp, UV treated. 6 years now, there's no degradation of that at all. So yeah, that's something you should know. And you would know if you buy my, I got the mini bed trilogy that tells all about that. Now, you can see I got some peas here coming up. They're coming up nicely. Those are spring blush snap pea. All right. And okay. So a few days ago, I planted my tomatoes. Not all of them, but I've got a row here of 8. You can see that tomato down there? That is a Viva Italia, my favorite tomato. There it is. And I started those plants inside. I don't start all my plants, but tomatoes, Viva Italia, absolutely. You can see down there that it's got the rye mulch around it. And, oh yeah, what I really want to show you is that I've got the tomato cages in there, and that is a plastic garbage bag. I cut the end out of it. Those cloches will protect those tomatoes and get them off to a great start. All right, that's one thing I really wanted to show you. Here you can see I've got kale. Now in my previous video I showed how I planted peppers 4 to a bed, and this is kale that I planted 4 to a bed, and another kale bed. We like our kale, and I'm going to be drying a lot of it. There's broccoli. Got 3 beds of broccoli. Now this morning, what I'm working on is preparing beds for planting later in the day. And what I've done, if you watch my previous videos, you know, the last 3 or 4, I show how I harvest the rye cover crop and how I prepare the beds. And here I've got a whole row of these beds down through there that I have cut off the rye. I've forked the beds, you know, cracked the soil, lifted the beds and the soil up a little bit, aerated it, and I put a couple gallons with my watering can onto the bed, and I laid the rye down. Now tonight when I go to plant whatever I'm going to plant in there, I think I'll probably be planting onions, and I got to get beets. I got a lot of stuff I got to plant. That soil will be in very nice working condition. And here's a bed where I haven't flipped the frame, and I haven't done the forking. The frames, the beauty of these frames is that they flip up real easy. See that? Very easy. Okay. I'm right by the road. Cars come by. I wish I wasn't so close to the road, but that's my situation. Not much I can do about that. Now let me come down here. I want to show you. There's those beds that I planted to peppers in the previous video, and there's my biochar. Garlic's doing very well. I've got lots of beds here. Now in previous years I haven't used all the beds because I've been busy, but you can bet this year these beds, every one of them is going to get planted because the world situation and all. And there I've got my parsley bed. Threw some more weed mulch over here this morning. All the weeds, all the weed pickings, kitchen scraps, banana peels, it all goes for mulch on these mini beds. All right, and one more thing. You can see I do have a mini bed row dedicated to raspberries with the post, single post. That's an EP row technique. It's in my mini bed gardening, the Whiz Bang Idea Book for Gardeners. I can't even remember the name of my own book. There I've got a solar pyramid. That's in the book too. And I've got potatoes in there. And you can see a T-post. And I've planted potatoes here. And you can see a T-post in each of those beds. And that's because this year, I've never done this, but this year I'm going to tie up those potato plants to the center stake. I'm discouraged when they get so big. They grow great. They get big, then they flop over. And so I'm going to try tying them off to a stake. That's a mini bed technique. You're not going to do that with a lot of potatoes. But out here, you can see I have tilled some soil. And that's because I am going to be planting potatoes for storage. Not just for summer eating, but for storage. Okay, one last thing. See my grapes down there? Those grapes have been there for a long time. And they are very productive. Just basically a short row gives us way more than we can use. And look here. Oh, my wife's got to get out here and get this. I guess I'll have to do it. Get the asparagus. I have a video where I showed planting this several years ago. Very easy to do, and they're very easy to take care of. All right, yeah. Got my wind vane up there. I'm going to get a video about making that and come out with the plans. That has been there for years. Pivots. The pivot was the thing that I was most concerned about. Would the pivot mechanism last? And it has. It's lasted very well. All right, said enough. Here's the situation here in the mini bed garden. Lots of work to do. Broken down into mini beds though. It's not overwhelming. It's a joy. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hey, give me a thumbs up if you like these kind of videos. Bye-bye.